I think after this game is still a long way to go to the final, and we already know which teams we can face. And I know from playing, there's first Aston Villa or Club Brugge, and then afterwards is probably going to be Arsenal or Atletico Madrid. So all very good teams. But what I do agree with Luis Enrique that we are a team, Paris Saint-Germain are a team, and 3 or 4 others that are good enough to reach the final. But because it's only 2 games, luck and bad luck can be decisive as well. It's difficult to say, but both teams are good enough to reach the final. Let's put it that way.
And do you really think that they have nothing to lose, or is that a bit of mind games?
They have a game of football to lose, and we as well. So I do think both they've been in this stage of the tournament for many years now. I think last season they reached the semi-final. We were not even at this stage last season in the Champions League, and the season before this was the round where we were knocked out. So yeah, these teams normally are going quite far into Europe, and yeah, that's it.
If you are to see it through, what difference do you need to see from the first leg?
I wasn't surprised at all about their performance. They've impressed me a lot. Before we played that game, I watched many games of them because we had a bit more time than normally. And I was really impressed by the intensity they play at, the team cohesion, the rotations in the midfield. They are such a complete team, such a well-managed team. And I think we've experienced this this last Wednesday. Some people said we played poor. I don't agree. I think they played tremendously well. I don't think we faced this season a team that combined that much quality with that much intensity. But I do think we can do better. So I'm not saying we played poor or not good at all, but we are a better team than we were last week. And that's something we have to prove tomorrow with the help of our fans.
Apologies.
Two questions really. There was some suggestion that PSG were surprised at the level of Liverpool last week in terms of you weren't very good. Do you have any comments on that? And do you think you'll have to play the best game of the season to get through tomorrow?
Nah, I think what you mean is that some of them have said that Arsenal and Bayern Munich were better than us, and that's I think what I've heard. I think what that has to do with the fact that Paris Saint-Germain improved a lot in these 2 or 3 months, and that they play away at Arsenal and away at Bayern Munich in these 2 games. And I saw both of those games. I just said I watched a lot of games. I saw those 2 as well. And they've improved and they've changed. So at Arsenal away they were much lower, waiting much more, and now they just press all over the pitch and take the risk of 1v1 constantly. So they've improved, they've changed, and it's up to them how they felt. I cannot influence what they felt. I don't even know if it's true or not, but I'm hoping that they have a different opinion after tomorrow night.
Do you think they'll have to give their best performance?
Yeah, I do think so, because this is the most complete team we've faced so far. And what I mean with complete is, okay, we've faced, of course, Arsenal and City, and it's not that there are big margins, but the intensity they play that with, combined with the quality they have, because, let's be honest, we are talking here about probably the richest club, or maybe there's one richer club a bit further ahead, but so they have so much quality, and a great manager, because he lets the team play in a way that it's not easy to play against this team, and he brings the best out of every player, and he brings incredible work rate in the team. So that's why I think we have to be at our best tomorrow. But, for example, we didn't have ball possession at all. City away, the other richest club in the world, together with Paris Saint-Germain. And at home, we had a completely different performance against City than we had away.
Gentleman behind Paul.
And I just wonder, just follow up to that, do you think the players get extra motivation when they hear comments that maybe the opposition doesn't think they're as good as they thought? Or
I don't know. I don't think anyone needs motivation, not their players, not our players. If you play at Anfield in a knockout stage with two of the better teams in Europe, I think there are 3, 4 or 5 incredible teams in Europe at the moment. And Paris Saint-Germain is one of them, and we are one of them. So I don't think anyone needs any kind of motivation. Not our fans, not our players, not their players, not the staff. We're all looking forward to a game like this, and everyone wants to be at their best if you play the best.
Chant at the end. Yeah.
Hi, Arne. Dario Rojo from Caliente TV Mexico. Would you say that this match is the most important of the season for you?
Yeah, because it's the next one.
Why?
Because it's the next one, and the next one is always the most important one.
Well, Nick is with us to look at that decisive leg. Slot alluded to the game in Paris. Liverpool somehow, I don't know how, scraped that win. So how will they fancy their chances of progressing through to the quarter-finals?
Well, it's put them in a strong position, hasn't it? Despite the difficulties they had in the game, they are in a fantastic position now, and history is on their side as well. They've progressed from the last 14 Champions League knockout ties they've had after winning the first leg, so they are in a good position. You have to go all the way back to 2002 to find the last example of a game where they failed to advance, having won the first leg. That was in the Champions League against Bayer Leverkusen, of course, inspired by that man Michael Ballack. So Liverpool won the first leg at Anfield 1-0. They then went out to Germany and lost 4-2 in that game. Bayer Leverkusen eventually got to the final that year, didn't they? They were on for a treble, but they fell short on all fronts. But Liverpool hope to avoid any kind of repeat of that. Of course, this time they do have the second leg at Anfield, which is a big advantage for them.
Yeah, it was Real Madrid, wasn't it? Casillas in that side in his breakthrough season. Klaus Toppmöller not getting any trophies for Bayer Leverkusen that campaign. Darwin Núñez has played a big part in the last 2 games up front for Liverpool. Nick, I mean, what sort of impact has he made to this side?
Yeah, well, he was key, wasn't he, in the first leg? He came on, he controlled that long pass from Alisson. He managed to play in Harvey Elliott for the decisive goal. He then scored against Southampton in the Premier League. So we have his stats here from those 2 appearances. So he's played 91 minutes across the 2 games. The goal, as we mentioned, against Southampton, the assist as well. But I think we have seen both sides of Núñez in these 2 appearances, really. So he obviously made those important contributions, but he also missed a couple of big chances, 2 big chances missed, both in that game against Southampton. Although he did win a penalty, he also was arguably lucky to be on the pitch, wasn't he, after his sort of kick at Kyle Walker-Peters. That was one of 4 fouls committed by Núñez in that game against Southampton. So, yeah, both sides of him in these last 2 games. He's obviously made a big impact in terms of the goal and the assist. But will Slot trust him from the start? That's an interesting question. It'll be interesting to see the team he goes with tonight.
Yeah, as many shots as fouls.
Indeed.
It was just nice. Arne Slot revealed Cody Gakpo will be in the squad at Anfield tonight. How important is he to Liverpool in this competition?
Yeah, he's been very important. 3 goals and 1 assist from him in the league phase. He's back now from an ankle issue he's been having in the last few weeks, and we can see how his stats compare to his Liverpool teammates in the Champions League this season. So as you can see, 0.77 goals per 90 minutes. That's the second best of Liverpool players. He's up there for shots as well, for touches in the opposition box. He's top in terms of chances created, which is interesting, isn't it? 2.06 chances per 90 minutes created in the Champions League. And then I think these last 2 rows are quite significant as well. Liverpool struggled to hold the ball up and they win their duels in that PSG game. They actually won their lowest percentage of duels in any Champions League game on record, Liverpool. So this man potentially coming back in, either as a substitute or a starter, could help because he does win a lot of duels. He does win aerials as well. So him, like Núñez, could have a part to play in this second leg as they try and get over the line and into the quarterfinals.
Another week, another Mo Salah record into 3rd on the all-time top scorers list for Liverpool.
Rushy's having a sweat on.
Yes.
But I mean, he cites Mo Salah simply sensational and 2 goals to win the game for Liverpool ultimately against Southampton. The question about the first half, because both Arne and Salah mentioned it after, was that a case of fatigue? Was it a case of complacency, especially considering bottom of the table Southampton in a big week is the one they were expected to win?
Yeah, I think a bit of both. I think maybe a bit of, not so much physical, maybe mental fatigue, because when you're playing in big Champions League games, you're physically fine, but mentally you concentrate so hard that it takes physical energy away from you. So they're probably a little bit, but it's not acceptable. Not when you're Liverpool. It's not acceptable to be off it. You have to be on it and you have to win every game. That's why they are where they are. And that's why he said what he said.
I got the impression that was a goal rush game yesterday, and I got the impression everyone thought this was going to be 6 or 7. It reminded me a little bit of the Wolves game when Liverpool won at 2-1, a little bit nervy, a little bit energy. It didn't start well, but I thought what it was, from a footballer's point of view, when you've got adrenaline, it's the best thing you can have as a player, because it's a big game, PSG in the Champions League, you get over the line, you get a win, you come back, and then everyone's talking, it's only Southampton. It'll be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you want it to be, and Liverpool sort of half believed it. I'm glad Arne went strong, so he knew what game was coming. He didn't rest 5 or 6 or 7 like he could have, and then he made the changes at half-time because clearly they weren't at it. The adrenaline weren't in them. They thought it was going to be easy. The sucker punch happened just before half-time when it went 1-0 down. I honestly think that was the best thing that happened to Liverpool because they went in and got a rollicking at half-time. The manager had to deliver a stern team talk. Second half, a completely different side. The Liverpool side that we've seen for many a week this season.
And personified by Darwin Núñez, because in the first half, second half, completely turned the game on its head.
Well, a lot of people at half-time and talking to Darwin Núñez, because he was on a yellow card, thought that he should have been taken off, but I thought it was clever management. He wasn't at it. People question whether he ran off him. I personally think it was Curtis Jones. That small bone ran off. And then this happened 1 minute before half-time, and the whole stadium was absolutely stunned. And they half deserved it. And then this is where I think he's a little bit petulant. A VAR check took a little bit too long, in my opinion. They were looking for a red card. I don't think it endangers his opponent. I don't think it's violent. I think what it is petulance. I think that's exactly what it is. And it got
terrible,
checked.
that is. That's awful.
And then, second half, I thought he was a completely different player where he was shutting down. He set the tempo. So, on a yellow card, many managers would have thought, Darwin Núñez, I've got to take them off because one more he might get sent off. Well, Arne gave him a different message and saying, go and redeem yourself.
I think a lot of this, he's not doing this because he's got players in behind him and they're looking to squeeze. He's doing it for himself. He needs to do that in order to get himself ready to play the game. He needs it for himself to work hard. This is brilliant.
He was man of the match.
Absolutely brilliant. Diaz.
Luis Diaz, man of the match by
Good finish, though. Great finish. Leaves the space. See, he goes away, then he goes, bam. Defender's body position's awful. Núñez just needs to get in front of him, side foot finish, as Don says, opens up his foot and lets him, opens up the goal as well. It's a really good finish.
Big call from Arne Slot midweek against PSG Tuesday. Play him or do you put Jota in? I personally would play Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, I think I would.
I'd play him into form.
Yeah, well, it was, we got to see what happens. It was Darwin Núñez, as you're saying, playing on Tuesday based off the fact that he scored the equaliser and then won the penalty.
And got the penalty.
Yeah, that's it, the first penalty, because there were 2. So let's have a look at it and see if you think that this one was cut
Well,
right
I've been where Smallbone's been, and what happens is you have eyes on the ball and it's bobbling around, ricocheting everywhere, and then you try and think you can clear it, and then the knee goes into the back. It looks like it's a soft one, but when you see it in slow motion, Smallbone's a little bit clumsy in his tackle. He catches Darwin Núñez sort of in the back of the knee calf, maybe a little bit of the angle at the same time. So the referee had to call that in real time. And once the referee gave a pen, it wouldn't have been a clear and obvious to overturn that. And then the technique.
It's a great penalty. It's an amazing penalty, and no one's going to be doubting Salah, because what he does do, Salah, is he doesn't really bother with the keeper too much. He just makes sure that the connection's very, very good. Again,
what
you're man of the match.
What is Sugawara thinking of?
I know.
By the way, this was the same player, Sugawara, that gave Liverpool a penalty in the home game when Liverpool won 3-2 and Mo Salah scored in exactly the same fashion, a handball. I mean, why would you lean into that? Why would you risk giving a penalty away?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with that one at all. I mean, players like Diaz and Salah, they look very slight, they look very small, they're strong, they've got a lot of strength, they'll push you around, and he knows as well. And Salah here, Ramsdale's thinking, I don't know where to go. Ramsdale, I don't know what he's going to do, so I'll just gamble.
Yeah,
Doesn't give anything away. He wraps his foot around it. That's a really good penalty. Really good penalty. He's not bad. He's got a future. He's got a future in the game.
Well, if you have him in your FPL team, you'll be absolutely buzzing. He broke his own record, most points in an FPL season, and there's still 9 games to go. Salah's goals and assists have been worth 35 points to Liverpool this season. They've only got 17 totals.
The names he's gone by.
Amazing. Well, himself, firstly.
Yeah. It's not bad when you go past yourself, is it?
He's beat himself.
Yeah, he's breaking records every week, including his own.
Absolutely. He's not bad. He's okay.